So let's start off with understanding the difference between what is a load and what is an intensity. So in this paper here from 2014, Holson really defines for us what we mean by load. So they define external load as the foundation of most monitoring systems. So external load is defined as the work completed by the athlete, measured independently of his or her internal characteristics. So what do we mean by an external load? Well, an external load might be, for example, if we're working with a cyclist, it might be the wattage at which they're working at. If we're working with a runner, then the external load may be the speed, the running speed that they're working at. If I'm working with a shot putter, it might be the load of the shot that they are moving, or it might be, for example, if they're then doing gym-based activities, it could simply be the load at which they are actually lifting, because they are all external to the individual, and they are measured, or they are amplified independently of what is happening internally. And so if we look at this, this is where it gets quite interesting. So you can see here we've got a summary of internal loads and then external loads. So things like perception of effort, it might be like an RPE, is an internal characteristic. It is the perception of the athlete, as would be, for example, lactate concentration or heart rate responses or any biochemical, immunological, or even hormonal response. These are all fundamentally an internal characteristic, but you can't really prescribe training on these. People will argue, well, you can prescribe training based upon heart rate or even on lactate or even on RPE. But in all of those, what you're actually doing is recording an internal characteristic. You're still applying an external load to drive the internal response. That is, even if I try and prescribe training on, say, a heart rate response, I've still got to apply an external load to drive the heart rate up. And the external loads are things like the powers, the speeds, the accelerations. And then you've got kind of the ramifications in terms of training, which would be sets, reps, intervals, recovery period between, and so on. So when we're thinking about training, we are interested really in the internal response. What is the internal load that has been generated? But that is absolutely a function of what is happening externally. You're applying an external load to generate an internal response, whether that be biological, physiological, biochemical, immunological, but it's fundamentally a manifestation of what's being applied externally.